Hello, dear students. I'm your lecturer, Miss Shanti Virginia D'Souza, and today we will be doing this paper, English Literature from 1798 to the present, which is for semester 2 of FYMA English. So let's have a quick look at your contents, your syllabus. Your syllabus is Unit 1. You have 3 poems. सबसे पहले पोइट है एलिजाबेथ बैरेट ब्राउनिंग, The Cry of the Children, Alfred Lord Tennyson from In Memoriam, I Envy Not in Any Moods, रॉबर्ट ब्राउनिंग, उन्होंने ये एलिजाबेथ बैरेट ब्राउनिंग जी के हस्बैंड है, इन्होंने लिखा है अमंग्स द रॉक्स. Then Unit 2, another three great poet and writers. You have T.S. Eliot, Preludes, W.B. Yeats, Easter 1916, and The Second Coming, and Siegfried Sassoon, जो एक war poet है, he has written Counter Attack. Finally, your last three unit of poetry, you have Seamus Heaney, Blackberry Picking, Anthony Thwaite, Simple Person, Kathleen Simmons, Experience. Then you have a novel. Novel में है John Rees, who has written White Sargasso Sea. It has a post-colonial angle to it. And finally, you have Harold Pinter writing The Birthday Party, which is part of Absurd Theatre. Okay, Absurd Drama. तो चलो सबसे पहले देख लेते हैं आपके पोएम क्राई ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन को. सो हियर इज क्राई ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन. ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग एंड बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट पोएम है फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ सोसाइटी, फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ सोशल इवल्स. क्योंकि बच्चों से जो लेबर करवाई जाती है वो उनके पूरे ज़िंदगी को बर्बाद कर देती है, उनके बचपन को बर्बाद कर देती है, उनसे सब कुछ छीन लेती है. तो इस चीज़ के खिलाफ बताते हुए एलिजाबेथ बैरेट ब्राउनिंग जी ने ये पोएम लिखी है. सो लेट्स सी द होल पोएम. The theme of child labor. The poem exposes the harsh realities of child labor during the Industrial Revolution. It vividly describes the children suffering in mines and factories. Whenever you hear someone talking about industries, development, industrial revolution, they say, oh my god, industries are coming up, development is taking place, this is so great for us, this is such a great progress. But what is the other side of that progress? That children are being put to labor at such a young age. They have to do what even adults won't be able to do. Such draining, such difficult work. So that is what Elizabeth Barrett Browning is trying to tell us. Then you have the imagery of innocence. Browning contrasts the innocent, joyful life of young animals and flowers with the sorrowful life of the children who are forced to work. वो हमें एक इमेजरी देती है, एक एग्जाम्पल देती है, जैसे कि जो एनिमल्स होते हैं उनके छोटे बच्चे जो है, how do they bond with their mother, how do they stay with their mothers, or when they are young they are so playful, they are so happy. But these children who are forced to labor, they have a sorrowful life. The children who are working as a laborer, this is the reality of their life. They are forced to work in any situation. Contrast of age. फिर हमें एक एज का भी एंगल दिखाया जा रहा है. The poem highlights how children, despite their youth, are filled with sorrow, while the old people who have experienced life may have reasons for grief. जब हम छोटे बच्चों के बारे में सोचते अच्छा शरारतें करेंगे, खेलेंगे, कूदेंगे, they have so much energy in life and they are so carefree. बट यहाँ ऐसा नहीं है. जिन बच्चों को इस लेबर के थ्रू गुजरना पड़ता है, they have to work as a laborer. So those children, they want to end their life like an old person. When somebody has lived their full life, then they feel that now I think it's time. I have lived enough. It is my time. But these children at such a young age, they feel like they have a reason to die. Hopelessness of children. This same theme is taken a little further. The children speak of their weddings and express a desire for death as an escape from their misery, showing how deeply their spirits are broken. The factory as hell. Browning uses powerful imagery to depict the factories as a form of hell, where the children's souls are crushed by relentless labor. इतनी ज़्यादा लेबर इनसे करवाई जाती है कि जैसे मैंने पहले समझाया था, देयर चाइल्डहुड इज टेकन अवे, उनका बचपन ही उनसे छीन लिया जाता है. दे डू नॉट हैव द लाइफ ऑफ अ normal child. So we will underline this over here, we'll highlight this. This is form of hell because we are getting to see the imagery where the factory is a big finance for these children. It's hell for these children, the kind of work that they are made to do at such a young age. खेलने कूदने की उम्र में इस तरह का उन्हें काम करना पड़ रहा है. So that is heartbreaking, and that is what Elizabeth Barrett Browning has tried to explain. Then you have religious disillusionment. The children question the existence of God or divine care as they feel they are abandoned in their suffering. They doubt if God even hears their cries. So over here what we are getting to see is इनका तो भगवान में से भी विश्वास उठ गया है. They don't believe in God anymore. They are questioning whether God is there. Because if God is there, why is God allowing such cruelty to take place with these children? Then you have address to patriarchy. Patriarchy मतलब अब ब्राउनिंग जी जो है हमारे पोएट, शी इज अटैकिंग द पेट्रियार्कल सिस्टम एंड अटैकिंग द सोसाइटी, द गवर्नमेंट हु बिकॉज ऑफ whom दिस इज टेकिंग प्लेस. कि भाई जवाब दो, इतने बड़े बड़े वादे किए थे, इतने बड़े बड़े बातें किए थे. एज अ गवर्नमेंट यू सेड यू वुड मेक अ प्रोग्रेसिव सोसाइटी. बहुत बड़े बड़े आपके स्पीचेस होते हैं एज अ पॉलिटिशियन, ओ वी ब्रिंग डेवलपमेंट, वी डू दिस, वी डू दैट. Oh my God, but what is the reality? The reality is that these children who are underage are having to work, labor, toil all day. So Browning addresses the men in power, asking them to recognize the children's suffering. We'll highlight this. She implies that the patriarchal system is responsible for the plight of these children. Call for action. She then goes on. The poem ends with a powerful plea for the nation to stop exploiting children. बच्चों को पढ़ने दो और बच्चे रहने दो. Don't put them through such labor. Urging the readers to recognize the injustice and act to change the situation. The political and social critique. The poem serves as a critique of the industrial society which sacrifices human life, especially that of children and for profit and power. Then finally we have an emotional appeal. Browning's use of emotional language and imagery is intended to invoke outrage in the readers, pushing them to take action against the inhuman practice of child labor. So we see the portrayal of child labor, its emotional intensity and its critique of societal injustice. कि जो हमारी एंडिंग है यहाँ पर, वी आर गेटिंग टू सी दैट ब्राउनिंग इज अपीलिंग टू द सोसाइटी कि बंद करो ये, बस बहुत हो गया. यू हैव पुट द चिल्ड्रन थ्रू so much of suffering and ruthlessness. This has to stop. Child labor has to stop. Then we look at the literary devices. So our first literary device is very interesting. The poem begins with an allusion to the Greek tragedy Medea by Euripides. अब ग्रीक सुन के तो अच्छों की हालत ख़राब हो जाती है because Greek is very complicated to understand at times. But we have thankfully the English translation over here. So the English translation is, "Alas, alas, why do you gaze at me with your eyes, my children?" So this allusion, this connects the children's suffering to a timeless tragedy of innocence betrayed. That is what the poet is trying to say. She's trying to make a connection between the children in her poem who are suffering to a timeless tragedy of an innocence which got betrayed. Just like in the Greek tragedy, the innocence was betrayed. In the same way, this children's innocence has been betrayed, and that is what she's trying to say. Then you have imagery. Browning uses vivid imagery to contrast nature's innocence with the children's suffering. So on the one hand, you have nature that's pleasant and innocent, and nature and children both are known to be happy, carefree, innocent, full of life. But over here, we are seeing a contrast, a very strong and a very sharp contrasts between the children who are suffering but nature is innocent. For example, this is the line from the poem. The young lambs are bleating in the meadows. The young birds are chirping in the nest. Highlights the innocence and liveliness of nature, contrasting it with the children's sorrow. तो एक तरफ आपके पास nature है, nature is happy. The young ones of the animals are happy with their mum. They are happy in their surrounding. But these children, the ones who are working as a child laborer, working in a mine, they have only darkness, sorrow, sadness and suffering in their lives. Then you have irony. England was known as the fatherland. So in the irony over here is that in the line, our happy fatherland, this line is highly ironic as it emphasizes the contrast between the idealized notion of a happy country and the harsh reality of child labor. Elizabeth Barrett Browning is trying to say कि भाई आप कितना भी ट्राई कर लो बोलने के लिए कि oh our fatherland is so happy, our land is so progressive, wow we have everything, we have a monarchy, we have great industries, but the reality is in your great industries you have children working, small, helpless, innocent little children working as hard as an adult. That is the reality she's trying to bring. Then we have a metaphor. The metaphor is the factory is metaphorically depicted as hell. The grinding, groaning mechanism of industrial society destroys the promise of human life. The factory's wheels are compared to instruments of fate and death. Fate and death is very important over here. वो बता रही है कि ये फैक्ट्री एक वर्चुअल हेल है. इट्स अ हेल फॉर दीज चिल्ड्रन हु आर वर्किंग. नर्क है जहाँ बच्चों को रोज़ के रोज़ जलाया जा रहा है इस तरह का काम करवा के. नॉट लिटरली बर्न बट दे आर बर्निंग बिकॉज दे आर वर्किंग इन दिस काइंड ऑफ अ माइंड. ओके, personification. The factory wheels are personified almost as if they have control over life. Still all day the iron wheels go onward as if in each fate was stark. The relentless machinery is portrayed as controlling the children's life. In personification, any non-human thing, non-living thing, एक झाड़, पेड़, पौधा, पत्थर, पानी, anything that is not a human being is given a human attribute. Is given the characteristics of a human being. Things like talking, walking, being upset, being angry. So the wheels are said to be going on and on like as if it's a human being and it's controlling the children's life. So you have that there. Then you have repetition. The repetition of words like groaning, turning, mourning throughout the poem mirrors the monotonous and relentless nature of children's labor, adding to a sense of exhaustion. So when you hear these words droning, turning, mourning, you can get a picture of what kind of a life these children are being put through, what kind of repetitive work and repetitive life of labor these children are having. Then you have a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is something like this. You see, Browning asks a direct rhetorical question to the reader and the men in power. Do you hear the children weeping, O my brothers? And do you ask them why they stand weeping? These questions highlight the ignorance and indifference of society. So a rhetorical question is basically asked for a purpose other than to obtain information. In many cases, you ask a rhetorical question to bring something to somebody's notice, to start. It is intended to start a conversation. So she is not really asking them for the answer of this, but for their attention. She is asking them whether they are aware, and to be aware, she is trying to draw their attention to the sad and suffering state of indifference and ignorance in the society. जैसे बड़े बड़े लोग होते हैं, पॉलिटिशियंस, MP, MLA, कितने लोग हैं, कितनी इन्फ्लुएंस है उन लोगों के पास, but are they using it for the right thing? Are they noticing these problems of the society? That is what she is asking them. Then you have symbolism. The iron wheels symbolize the industrial machinery that grinds away the children's lives, while the meadow, cowslips, and other natural elements symbolize the innocence and freedom which the children are deprived of. Because in the meadow, as we saw, we have the baby animals who have a happy life, but we are reminded that these children do not have that innocence, that freedom, and they are, as a child, they are deprived of these things. Then you have contrast. You have Browning contrasting the natural world of young lambs, young birds, flowers with the industrial world, factory and iron wheels, to emphasize on the unnatural condition that these children are forced to be in, that are forced upon the children. Finally, you have the tone. The tone of the poem is sorrowful and accusatory. Browning creates a tone of deep empathy for the children while simultaneously condemning the society that allows such suffering. These devices work together to evoke empathy, outrage, and a strong emotional response from the reader, is effectively conveying Browning's critique of industrial society and child labor. So, what you have over here is something very important that she's ending the poem with, that she is saying जागो भाई सोसाइटी जागो, जितने लोग जिनके पास पावर है, पॉलिटिशियंस, मोनार्क, सोसाइटी, गवर्नमेंट, सब लोग जागो और इस चीज़ को समझो, इस चीज़ के seriousness को समझो, that what is going on over here, the children are being deprived of a childhood and they are put through suffering every day. So wake up and understand that and fight against it. Stop this. Stop the industrial society from exploiting little children and give them an education, a childhood, and a life. Let them live. Let them live carefree and happily the way a child is meant. I hope this was helpful. All the very best for your FYMA English, and thank you. See you in the next lecture.